Tomatoes are actually a fruit, botanically classified as a berry, but they are commonly referred to as vegetables due to their culinary uses. The scientific name for tomato is Solanum lycopersicum. Tomatoes belong to the nightshade family, which also includes potatoes, eggplants, and peppers. The origin of tomatoes is traced back to South America, particularly the region that is now Peru, Bolivia, and Ecuador. The Aztecs and Mayans were among the first to cultivate and domesticate tomatoes around 700 AD. Spanish explorers brought tomatoes to Europe in the 16th century. In Europe, tomatoes were initially grown as ornamental plants and were thought to be poisonous due to their resemblance to other toxic nightshade plants. The French called tomatoes pommes d'amour, love apples, because they believed them to have aphrodisiac properties. Tomatoes come in various colors, including red, yellow, orange, green, purple, and even striped varieties. The red color of tomatoes is due to the presence of lycopene, a powerful antioxidant. Lycopene is more easily absorbed by the body when tomatoes are cooked or processed. Tomatoes are rich in vitamins C, K, and A, as well as potassium and folate. The water content of tomatoes is around 95%, making them a hydrating food. There are thousands of tomato varieties, ranging from tiny cherry tomatoes to large beefsteak tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes are named for their small, round shape and are often eaten raw in salads or as snacks. Beefsteak tomatoes are large, juicy tomatoes commonly used for slicing and sandwich making. Heirloom tomatoes are varieties that have been passed down through generations for their unique flavors and traits. Roma tomatoes, also known as plum tomatoes, are known for their meaty texture and are often used in sauces and canning. San Marzano tomatoes, a variety from Italy, are highly prized for their sweet flavor and are favored for making pasta sauce. Green tomatoes are unripe tomatoes that can be fried or used in chutneys and relishes. Tomatoes are classified into determinate and indeterminate types based on their growth habit. Determinate varieties have a fixed growth pattern and produce fruit all at once, while indeterminate varieties continue to grow and produce fruit throughout the season. The average tomato plant can produce around 10 to 15 pounds of fruit during a growing season. Tomatoes are grown in every continent except Antarctica. China is the world's leading producer of tomatoes, followed by India and the United States. The world's largest tomato tree, located in Walt Disney World's Epcot Center, produced over 32,000 tomatoes in its first 16 months. Tomatoes are one of the most popular garden vegetables in the United States. The United States produces over 13 million tons of tomatoes annually. Tomatoes require warm temperatures to grow and are sensitive to frost. The ideal temperature range for growing tomatoes is between 70 degrees Fahrenheit and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Tomatoes are usually grown as annuals, but they are perennials in their native tropical climates. The flowers of tomato plants are self-pollinating, but they can also be pollinated by bees and other insects. Tomato plants have compound leaves with serrated edges. Tomatoes are often referred to as love apples in many languages, reflecting their association with love and romance. Tomatoes are used in a wide variety of cuisines around the world, from Italian pasta sauces to Indian curries. Ketchup, a popular condiment, is made primarily from tomatoes, vinegar, sugar, and spices. The first recorded recipe for tomato ketchup appeared in 1812 in the United States. Tomato paste, tomato sauce, and tomato puree are common tomato-based products used in cooking. Sun-dried tomatoes are tomatoes that have been dried in the sun and are used in salads, pasta dishes, and sandwiches. Tomatoes can be preserved by canning, freezing, or drying. Tomatoes are a key ingredient in gazpacho, a cold Spanish soup. Tomatoes are also used in cocktails like the Bloody Mary and the Michelada. Tomatoes are often paired with mozzarella cheese and basil in the classic Italian dish caprese salad. Tomatoes are a versatile ingredient that can be used in soups, stews, sauces, salads, and sandwiches. Tomatoes were once thought to be poisonous in Europe and were only grown as ornamental plants. The tomato was first introduced to Italy in the 16th century but was initially used mainly as a decorative plant. Tomatoes gained popularity in Italian cuisine in the late 18th century after the discovery that they were safe to eat. The Spanish brought tomatoes to the Philippines in the 17th century, where they became a staple ingredient in Filipino cuisine. Tomato plants can suffer from various diseases, including blight, wilt, and mosaic virus. Companion planting tomatoes with basil is believed to improve the flavor of both plants and repel pests. Tomatoes are often grown in greenhouses to extend the growing season and protect them from pests and diseases. Hydroponic systems are also used to grow tomatoes without soil, using nutrient-rich water instead. The largest tomato on record weighed over 7 pounds. Tomatoes are sometimes used as a natural skincare remedy due to their antioxidant properties. Tomatoes are believed to have anti-cancer properties, particularly due to the presence of lycopene. Tomato leaves are toxic to some animals, including dogs and cats. Tomato juice is a popular remedy for removing the smell of skunk spray from clothing and skin. In some cultures, tomatoes are considered symbols of good luck and prosperity. Tomatoes were once referred to as poison apples because wealthy Europeans would eat tomatoes from lead-based plates, which led to lead poisoning. The Spanish colonizers introduced tomatoes to the Caribbean, where they became an integral part of Caribbean cuisine. In the United States, tomatoes are often used as a symbol of summertime and outdoor barbecues. The town of Reynoldsburg, Ohio, hosts an annual tomato festival to celebrate the tomato harvest. Tomato plants can grow to be quite large, with indeterminate varieties reaching heights of over 10 feet under ideal conditions. Tomatoes are often used as a natural dye for fabrics and Easter eggs. Tomato seeds are usually germinated indoors before being transplanted into the garden. Tomatoes are susceptible to blossom end rot, a condition caused by calcium deficiency. Tomatoes can be grown upside down in hanging baskets, a method believed to save space and reduce pests. Tomatoes were first grown commercially in the United States in the early 19th century. The tomato industry in the United States was revolutionized by the invention of the tomato harvester in the 1960s. Tomatoes are one of the most economically important crops in the world. The tomato genome was sequenced in 2012, providing valuable insights into the genetics of tomato plants. Tomato breeding programs aim to develop varieties with improved flavor, disease resistance, and shelf life. Tomatoes are often referred to as nature's candy due to their sweet flavor when ripe. Tomatoes are low in calories, with only around 18 calories per 100 grams. Tomatoes are a good source of fiber, which helps aid digestion and promote bowel regularity. Tomatoes are often recommended as part of a heart-healthy diet due to their high levels of antioxidants and potassium. Eating tomatoes may help reduce the risk of certain chronic diseases, including heart disease and cancer. Tomatoes are believed to have originated in the Andes Mountains of South America. The tomato plant is native to western South America and Central America.